Hey everyone, it's Ryan here. It's currently 5 to 4 in the morning, which might be a bit quieter with this video. Uh, just finished watching Money in the Bank. As you can see, I no longer have the title. I'll explain what happened during Money in the Bank. So spoilers ahead, if you don't want Money in the Bank spoiled, don't watch this. But yeah, Money in the Bank was is a weird one tonight. A very weird one. So we'll go through the matches. Pre-show, Hype Bros versus Colognes. Hype Bros win. Some reason I had a weird thing that the Colognes. I'll explain later, but I for some reason didn't think that through. But it's Hype Bros versus Colognes. Hype Bros win because obviously return the Hype Bros. Why not? That's pre-show. You don't really care about that. Then we get onto the main show. Starts off with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. God, they fucked that up. Like, it's going to have a lot of people talking, but for just bad reasons. So what happened was, it was about 10-15 minutes of them brawling. Not much notable happened, except the end. Becky Lynch is climbing, and then James Ellsworth, a man, in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, tilts the ladder. Not the first time he's been involved in a title, like in some important match where he's had to tilt a ladder. Knocks Becky off, climbs up himself, unhooks the briefcase, and passes it down to Carmella below. So Carmella is Miss Money in the Bank, but it's the fact that this is the first ever women's Money in the Bank, and it's decided by a man. Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you, WWE? Like, I thought you fixed this problem when we had the women's championship, but then again, we did have Ric Flair get involved in that match, which, you know, they seem to not want to go the distance when it comes to amazing women's matches. Like the last one was Sasha Banks and Bayley main event, Iron Woman match. Like, they just seem to just keep fucking it up. Like, WrestleMania 25, they had the Diva Battle Royal, again, won by a man. But, you know, that was for comic effect or whatever. That was stupid in itself. But yeah, like, I get that it gets people talking. It's sort of a brilliant part on Carmella's thing as a heel. Like, she hasn't really proved herself too much in the ring, but she basically uses James Ellsworth, who's this super heat attractor, to then win the briefcase. Like, the referees are arguing, like, two of them, like, no, James Ellsworth got it, so therefore it doesn't count. But then, like, one of them was like, but Carmella has the briefcase in her hands, therefore she's the winner. The rule is, like, the weird thing was JBL made the logic here. It was the fact that it doesn't matter that James Ellsworth took the briefcase down. It was the fact that Carmella had it in her hands. The rule is first woman to, well, it's normally the first one to unhook the briefcase but then hold on to it. Because there was a thing about 5 years ago, I think it was Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, and Jack Swagger in a triple threat ladder match for the Intercontinental title, I think. And there's a bit where Kofi and Swagger both unhook the title but drop it, and then Ziggler swoops down below and grabs it, and therefore he wins. So I'm going on that rule. Again, I get that it's unique and everything, but why do it with the first ever women's Money in the Bank match? Like, you seriously just fucked that up. But one thing that they have done, which I think is a brilliant idea, is Daniel Bryan literally put a tweet out saying, that is not how it's going to end. Because of that, I'm going to discuss about it SmackDown, so it gives you a reason to tune to SmackDown. Which I think Carmella is going to have to defend the briefcase against maybe all of them, or just one, like maybe just Becky, but I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. We'll move on to the next match, which was the New Day versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So our rule is, if it's disqualification to count out in a championship match, the champions are class. It's like whoever walks out with the title, essentially, is the winner for the prediction. Whereas my housemate had the Usos, I had the New Day. This was an amazing match. Went on for a good 20 minutes, maybe. So many false finishes, and could have been match of the night. Except for the end, which really ticks me off. I get that it's a heelish move, but it's, again, WWE just doing this to themselves, which is so annoying, where you have a brilliant match and you always have to end it by like a heelish fluky finish or whatever. They essentially had it where they almost won. One of the Usos, they got hit by Midnight Hour, went for the pin, the other Uso dragged him out the ring, and then they literally walked off with the titles, and then that was the end of the match. And I'm sat there thinking, Kofi and Big E are in the ring. If they just walk out the ring, grab them, bring them back in, break the count rather than sit there and wait for him to count them out. Could have done that way. So Usos retained via count out. After an amazing match, they decide, I don't need this, and walk off. And it just really pissed me off. So, like I said, it's been a strange night. Two results, two matches, two annoying results. Then we go on to the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Lana and Naomi. Lana gets some offense in. She starts off with dancing and stuff, like not taking it too seriously, which is a bit weird. Then she gets some offense in. She's actually doing really good. Then a nice thing they do, which is very interesting, is Carmella comes out halfway through when Lana is... I think she's got a submission on Naomi, or she's just gone for a pinfall and it didn't work. I think she went for a pinfall as a 2 count, then Carmella comes out, walks down to the ring, goes to cash in, but then thinks, no, wait, which is pretty, that's a pretty cool heelish move for a briefcase, is to go, I can cash in, but I'm not going to. So then Lana decides to go for a pin again, despite the fact it didn't work about 30 seconds ago. I don't see why in that case Naomi would think, I'll just lay down for 3 this time. Eventually, she goes for her finisher again, which is like a leg hook spinebuster thing. Naomi flips over the top, puts her submission in. Lana loses, and Carmella's stood there with the briefcase like, I can cash in if I want, and Naomi's like, go on then. She goes, no, you know what, I'm not going to, and walks off, which is, I think, brilliant on her half. Then the next match is, because the funny thing about it was they had the pre-show, and then these 3 matches took place within the first hour, and they had 2 hours of potentially just 2 more matches. They had a little vignette, I think, between the Tag Team Championships and the Women's Championship with the Fashion Police, and this was, I think it was Fashion Vice. This is like a Miami Vice spin-off thing. One of my favourite things on it straight away is Fandango's on a phone. It says property of Paul E., who's Paul Heyman, who's Paul E. Dangerously. And he used to have the phone. And then they have they're basically talking about stuff, and then they get a videotape, and it's got 2 shadowy figures saying, we'll challenge you to a match in the rings, and they have that later on. But before that is the WWE Championship between Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. They have a showcase of the St. Louis legends, whatever. You've got Sergeant Slaughter, Bob Orton, Ric Flair, I think it was Larry the Axe Hennig, and a couple of other people. You could tell those are going to get involved somewhere. The thing I like about this match, it went on for 20 minutes, and it was the first time in a long time it felt like a actual normal match, if you know what I mean. Whereas the face is getting cheered to hell, and then the heel is getting booed to hell. As it should be, because there's so many just smarky fans now. We had it a lot with the men's Money in the Bank, where they'd cheer Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin and all that stuff. But yeah, with this, it went on for a good 20 minutes. Sort of ended the same way as their last fight at Backlash. But there's a bit where it goes on for a good 15 minutes. Jinder's working the leg of Randy Orton, which, again, is good on Jinder's character, because he's basically a psychological wrestler. It's like, okay, that bit's injured, so I'm going to go for it. At one point, looks at Ric Flair and says, this one's for you, and puts a figure 4 on, which I thought was fucking brilliant. What a way to piss people off than to put Ric Flair's finisher on. I jokingly said that at the beginning of the match. I went, just imagine if Jinder puts the figure 4 on. And literally 10 minutes later, he does. And then he goes for a superplex, which was Bob Orton's finisher, and then Orton does one himself. And then at one point, they're doing the punch back and forth thing. The yeah, boo, that thing. And then Randy Orton starts doing his comeback. The 2 clothesline, scoop slam, the DDT, and then he does an RKO, pins him. And then one of the Singh brothers grabs Jinder's foot, puts it on the rope. And then the ref goes to disqualify them for outside interference. And then this is another weird case I have with like face logic, I guess, where it's like because he's a face and he's pleading, the referee will be like, yeah, okay, sure. Like the Singh brothers are being smart here and go, no, disqualifiers because we got involved, disqualifiers. And Randy's like, no, please don't. Just throw them out or something. Like, just throw them out. Oh, let's finish this match in all way. And the ref goes, actually, you know what? You two out of here. Like, literally just agrees with the face instead of following the rules. Then they go to walk off, confront the legends, walk off a bit, talk to each other for a good minute. And then they go back and they grab Bob Orton, Randy's dad. And then Randy literally beats the shit out of him, does a throw up in the air onto the table, does a running RKO from one table to another, which was awesome. And then gets back in the ring, turns around, Jinder kicks him in the bad leg, and then hits him with the Kosa, I think it was. The Colossus. I think it's called the Colossus. Hits him with that, pins him, and gets the win to a huge boo. Because obviously Orton's hometown hero, and on wrestling logic, hometown heroes don't really win that much, especially when it's important, like a title match. Then we have the Breezango match, which is a filler. Turns out the shadowy figures are the Ascension. This goes on for about 10 minutes, and then Breezango get the win by a roll-up. So that was fun, I guess. I guess it was sort of like just a cool them down between WWE title. And then final match, we have the men's Money in the Bank. This goes on for a good 40 minutes, I believe. Very interesting was they had, I think it was Kevin Owens came out. No, it wasn't Kevin Owens. It was AJ Styles, then Dolph Ziggler, then Sami Zayn, then Kevin Owens. Then Shinsuke came out, and I was thinking to myself, why would Baron be coming out last? Because I'm sure if you want to hype up the beginning, you have Shinsuke, and that way they don't interrupt Baron's thing. But Baron comes out and attacks Shinsuke during his entrance, hits him with a ladder a few times, hits him with the camera a few times, and then Shinsuke is taken out for a good 80% of the match. Like is just ridiculous, if I'm honest. I don't see how it builds Shinsuke too much, but like, I was literally waiting for him to come back at some point. It was going to be when Baron would try and climb. Some amazing spots in this. You've got AJ Styles about to do a phenomenal forearm. Dolph runs up a ladder and stops him. Then jumps at Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin does a deep six. There's a bit where he has to hesitate because he almost hits the camera, and then he hits the rest of it. I think AJ goes for like some speed move. Baron is like set up a ladder across the ring and the table and literally chokeslams him into the table. Then there's a bit later on, Sammy hits Baron with a haluva kick. Kevin Owens comes back up. He goes outside the ring, grabs him in that reverse suplex thing, like at WrestleMania 32, where he got his head stuck in that, and literally does it onto the ring apron. And then there's a bit where Kevin Owens comes back at some point and then goes to pop a powerbomb AJ Styles through the ladder that he was chokeslammed into, and then AJ reverses and literally just hits like an attitude adjustment or something, just literally just throws him into the table. And that's him taken out for ages. Baron comes back, I think hits AJ Styles, goes to climb. Shinsuke comes out, beats up everyone, grabs a ladder, and it's like there's a smart bit where Kevin Owens is literally gripped onto the ladder and literally just going along with it to the point just to help him up as Shinsuke puts in the ring. Shinsuke comes around, hits Kevin Owens, gets back in the ring, puts the ladder up, and there's an amazing moment where he puts it up, and the second he stands there ready to climb, he looks up, and AJ Styles is on the other side. And just the constant noise just from the crowd for the fact these two are facing off. Stand there for a good 30 seconds, and then instead of climbing, they grab the ladder and they put it to one side, and they just face each other for another 2 minutes, and everyone's just losing their shit. Start beating the crap out of each other for ages. Shinsuke gets a big move in, goes to hit Kinshasa, and then AJ Styles pops up with a phenomenal forearm, and then they're both on the floor. I think some other things happen, but I can't really remember. But then it gets to the point where they're both in the ring still. They both climb the ladder for a good 2-3 minutes, just punching each other, slowly falling down. Oh, forgot to mention as well, one point AJ climbs the ladder, Dolph takes the ladder away, and AJ's hanging from the briefcase for a good minute, and then just flops straight to the ground. But yeah, so Shinsuke and AJ are both on the ladder, climbing up, beating, punching each other, and it looks like they're going to do a thing where they punch each other both off at the same time, but they hit each other like twice and just sort of sit there like that. And then Baron Corbin comes out of nowhere, pushes the ladder for both of them to fall down, climbs up himself, and Baron Corbin takes a good minute, almost as long as Swagger did at 26, and eventually gets the briefcase down. And Baron Corbin is Mr. Money in the Bank. Um, so this is, I guess, their plan for Baron's big push. I thought Sammy was going to win and Baron would just bully Sammy for ages. I sort of thought from this that Baron and Shinsuke were going to feud and maybe Sammy would win the briefcase, but I guess not. Baron's going to be having a big push. Just gotta wait for someone to take the title off Jinder, not sure who yet, and then Baron to cash in on them. Because I doubt Baron's going to cash in on Jinder, because it's a heel and heel thing. Although Baron's character is he doesn't really care for anyone, but still has the whole heel logic. But yeah, like I said, it was a very different pay-per-view. And one thing I just completely forgot, which was a super big moment. There's a bit where it's just in the middle of nowhere, and there's these love hearts on the floor. And me and my housemate are thinking, what the hell is this? Like, is Breezango completely changed or something? And then out comes Mike and Maria Kanellis. Not Bennett, it's Kanellis. Because I think they went with Kanellis because they know that everyone knows Maria Kanellis, WWE-wise, more than Mike Bennett. So they're Mike and Maria Kanellis. And instantly everyone's cheering the hell out of them. Maria's still got the First Lady. She's now the First Lady of WWE, which is great. And Mike is just proving the fact that he's such a heel. Because Maria's like, 7 years I've been gone and I was looking for the perfect partner. And then instead of going, and I found him, he then goes, yeah, and then you found me. Yeah, you found me. I didn't find you, you found me. Like, literally got this whole self-gracious thing, like, oh, I'm so perfect and all this stuff. So yeah, we got Maria Kanellis back and Mike Bennett. Alice Mike Kanellis. So that should be interesting. I'd like to see where it goes. They'll probably just face like Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins for a bit. Slowly build his way up for a few months. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But like I said, Money in the Bank was a very strange one. Had its ups and downs. I'm going to give mainly an up. It was nice to see some surprising winners rather than obvious ones. Because I don't think people really give Carmella too much of a chance. Like, Carmella and Baron Corbin both dark horse winners. Rather than like, oh, it's going to be between this person and this person. Because everyone was like, it's either going to be Kevin or Sammy. And we're thinking it's either going to be Charlotte or Becky. And for the fact that Carmella and Baron, it would be very different if Carmella won. It was quite nice. Like I said, tag team match was amazing. Just a bit sad about the finish. Money in the Bank, men's Money in the Bank was pretty cool as well. I'd say the tag team match was a bit better than that one though. But yeah, like I said, very up and down. It's a very crazy one. But at least they give us a reason to tune into SmackDown now because they will address the whole Money in the Bank situation. Maybe have a rematch for the SmackDown tag titles after the way it ended as well, but we'll see what happens. And that was my reaction to Money in the Bank. Let me know what you think. I shall see you in the next one. Right.